stop scrolling, I need to ask you something that's going to make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you looked at someone else's life and felt like yours wasn't enough? When did you check social media and suddenly feel behind? When did you see someone's success and feel like a failure? If you're honest with yourself, it probably happened today, maybe in the last hour. And here's the brutal truth nobody wants to admit. That feeling is destroying you from the inside out. The comparison trap isn't just stealing your joy. It's murdering your potential. It's bleeding your energy dry. It's turning you into a spectator of your own life. And your brain, your beautiful, sophisticated brain, can't stop doing it. The ancient Stoics saw this coming 2,000 years ago. They watched people destroy themselves by measuring their worth against others. They understood something that modern psychology is only now confirming. Comparison isn't just a bad habit. It's a psychological virus that infects everything you do. Today, I'm going to show you why comparison is the silent killer of success, why your brain is wired to make this mistake, and most importantly, how to break free from this mental prison and finally focus on your own path. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover why scrolling through social media is like drinking poison, why celebrating other people's wins feels impossible, and how to rewire your brain to compete with only one person, yourself. But first, let me be crystal clear. I'm not telling you to stop learning from others. I'm not saying ambition is bad. What I'm showing you is how to transform comparison from your greatest enemy into your most powerful teacher. Because here's the reality. In a race where everyone's running different tracks, comparing your mile 3 to someone else's mile 30 is insanity. Now, drop this affirmation in the comments. I run my own race. From today, everything changes. You will no longer measure your worth by someone else's highlight reel. You will no longer let other people's success make you feel small. Let's uncover the hidden destruction of social comparison. Number 1, the illusion of equality. Here's a truth that will blow your mind. You're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You see their victory. They lived the struggle. You see their success. They survived the failures. You see their confidence. They battle the doubt in private. Every single day you're making comparisons based on incomplete information, and those comparisons are destroying your self-worth. Think about how social media works. People post their wins, their vacations, their perfect moments. Nobody posts the 47 rejections before the yes. Nobody shows the anxiety attack at 3 a.m. Nobody broadcasts the relationship fights or the financial stress or the imposter syndrome. You're seeing 1% of their reality and comparing it to 100% of yours. Let me tell you about someone I know. Successful entrepreneur, growing business, decent income, but miserable. Why? Because they spent hours every day scrolling through Instagram looking at people who seemed more successful. They'd see someone's new car and feel like a failure. They'd see someone's business milestone and question their own progress. What they didn't see was that half those people were in debt. What they didn't know was that many of them were miserable despite their success. What they couldn't understand was that they were comparing their chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Marcus Aurelius once said, "How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself." The emperor understood something most people never learn. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and every minute you spend comparing yourself to others is a minute stolen from building yourself. When you compare yourself to others, you're not seeing reality. You're seeing a carefully curated illusion designed to make you feel inadequate. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I focus on my own growth. Number 2, the dopamine destruction. Your brain is addicted to comparison, and that addiction is killing your happiness. Every time you check how many likes your post got, your brain releases dopamine. Every time you see you have more followers than someone, you get a chemical reward. Every time you notice you're doing better than a friend, your brain celebrates. But here's the problem. This system is rigged against you. For every comparison where you come out ahead, There are 10 where you come up short. Your brain remembers the losses more than the wins. This creates a vicious cycle. You compare yourself and feel bad. To feel better, you seek out another comparison where you might win. Sometimes you do, and you get a brief high, but then you crash and need another hit. It's exactly like a drug addiction, except the drug is other people's validation. Think about how exhausting this is. You post something online, you check for reactions, you compare your engagement to others, you feel good or bad based on arbitrary numbers. You never escape the cycle. The most successful people don't play this game. They create because they love creating, not because they need validation. Seneca once said, "If you live in harmony with nature, you will never be poor. If you live according to opinions, you will never be rich. If you measure yourself by your own values and progress, you'll always have enough. If you measure yourself by other people's standards, you'll always feel lacking. Your worth isn't determined by how you stack up against others. It's determined by whether you're becoming the person you're capable of being." Drop this affirmation in the comments. I define my own success. Number 3, the energy drain. Every moment you spend comparing is a moment you're not building. Every hour you waste feeling inadequate is an hour you could have spent improving. Comparison is the ultimate energy vampire. It sucks your motivation, drains your confidence, and leaves you paralyzed with self-doubt. Here's what happens when you're trapped in comparison mode. You see someone doing better than you. Instead of getting inspired, you get discouraged. Instead of asking, "What can I learn?" you ask, "Why am I so far behind?" That question destroys your momentum. This is where most people fail. They see someone else's success and think the solution is to become that person, so they abandon their unique strengths and try to replicate someone else's journey. It never works. You know why? Because you're not them. You don't have their background, their skills, their personality, their circumstances. The most successful people protect their energy like it's gold. They understand that focus is finite. Every time they compare themselves to others, they're spending resources they could use to actually improve. Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Stop watching what everyone else is doing and embody your own path." Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my energy. Number 4, the gratitude blindness. When you're obsessed with what others have, you become blind to what you have. Comparison is gratitude's worst enemy. Every time you look at someone else's life and feel envy, you're ignoring the blessings in your own. This might be the most destructive effect of comparison. It makes you perpetually dissatisfied. You could have a good job, but you focus on people with better jobs. You could have a loving relationship, but you focus on couples who seem happier. The result? You live in a state of constant lack. No matter what you achieve, it never feels like enough. Think about how insane this is. You might have things that billions of people would consider blessings, but you feel poor because you're comparing yourself to the tiny percentage who have more. Gratitude is the antidote. When you practice genuine gratitude, comparison loses its power. Epictetus taught, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." True wisdom isn't acquiring more, it's appreciating what you already possess. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I practice daily gratitude. Number 5, the freedom formula. You've learned why comparison destroys you. Now let me show you how to break free. The freedom formula is simple. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. That's it. That's the entire solution. Every morning, ask yourself one question. What can I do today to be 1% better than I was yesterday? Not better than your competitor. Better than yesterday's version of you. This is the only comparison that matters, because it's the only comparison based on complete information. When you compete with yourself, you're playing a fair game. Define success on your own terms. What do you actually want? Not what society says you should want. Not what looks impressive on social media. What genuinely matters to you. Once you define success on your own terms, comparison loses its power. You're not competing in anyone else's race anymore. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom isn't having what everyone else has. It's mastering yourself so deeply that what everyone else has becomes irrelevant. You've discovered the truth about comparison. It's a thief that steals your joy, your energy, your authenticity. But you've also learned the antidote. Focus on your own race. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. The choice is yours. You can keep scrolling, comparing, and suffering. Or you can close the apps, do the work, and build something real. Will you let comparison destroy you? Or will you master your own journey and build the life you actually want? If this video opened your eyes to the comparison trap, hit that like button. If you want more truth about psychology and personal growth, subscribe and ring the notification bell. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I run my own race at my own pace. Remember, in a world obsessed with rankings, the most radical act is focusing on your own growth. Don't be a spectator of everyone else's life. Be the author of your own. Thank you for watching. Now stop watching and start building.